Okay, review for Horizon. Kevin Costner's new epic western. So this movie is 3 hours long. It is slow, but I did enjoy it. I kind of watched it like in two sittings, just cut it in half pretty much, and thought it was an interesting movie. So the synopsis on IMDb chronicles a multi-faceted 15-year span of pre- and post-Civil War expansion and settlement of the American West. And it's kind of interesting because Kevin Costner isn't in it as much as I thought. Maybe he'll be in part 2 and 3 and 4 more. I guess they're filming part 3. They already filmed it, and I don't know if they're filming part 4 now. I hope it gets made because it's kind of an interesting movie. Some people will just never watch this because it's so long, which I understand. But like I said, maybe, watch it in two sittings. But it's directed by Kevin Costner. He's one of 3 writers. I mean, huge cast. You have Kevin Costner, Sienna Miller, Sam Worthington, who I actually thought was good in this. Because I'm not a massive fan of his, but I thought he was good in this. Jenna Malone, Owen Crow, Anka Means, Tim Guinea, who I was like, oh my god, that's the guy that's in Vampires, right? I'm looking at his IMDb now. Man, he's been in tons of stuff, but he's only in it for a little bit. But let's see here. No, that's him. Yeah, he plays the Padre. Anyways, it was just nice to see him because I've always really liked him as an actor, and he's been in tons of stuff, but I haven't seen much of it. Giovanni Ribisi is at the very end, and it's kind of just showing a highlight of 2. Like, he looks like he works in a printing press or something. Danny Houston is a colonel in it. And there's a bunch of other actors, but Michael Rooker's in a decent amount. Will Patton is in it also. I think he's on the Horizon he's on the carriage that's moving west. But so I did like the movie. It is a little slow. If you're into westerns, I think you'll like this. And it jumps around from different narratives and characters. And I found it interesting. And the character he plays is kind of a odd character to choose to play, but I think I see where he's going with this, because he's kind of just he like, I think he said he was in cattle trading, and then he kind of gets swooped up into this story that's going on with this girl and the kid she's watching. So, because the kid's parents are, well, I mean, I won't say until, well, spoilers. I'll just get into spoilers because I can't really talk about this without them. But I did like the movie. I didn't think it was amazing. It's not the best Western I've ever seen or anything, but I thought some of the things that were going on were interesting. So one of the things I thought was interesting was there's a caravan, and they're setting up a town, and then this is almost right away, and they're in Apache land, and they're moving, and there's a poster that was being thrown around. Now, where were they from? Were they from the East Coast or Chicago? I don't remember, but to create a settlement called Horizon, and they get there and no one's there, and it's in Apache land, and the local Apaches aren't very happy about that. So some of them, like the younger warriors, defy their chief, and they go and they attack it, and they kill probably like 3 out of 4 people, women, children, men, everyone. And I thought that was shot really well. The music in this is pretty good too. It's pretty epic Western, old school feel. But I thought this was interesting though, because it's like a little complex. It's not like cartoonish how it like the old Westerns kind of handled this stuff, because like they're doing this and they have their reasons, but it's wrong what they do. And then they go to their chief after this is done, because some of the people survive, and then the American army shows up like a day or 2 later, and Sam Worthington is their leader. And Sam Worthington kind of says to them, well, you know, they shouldn't have attacked you, but like we have an agreement with the Apache in this area. Basically, there's a fort, I think he said like 50 miles north, and he's like, we just stay there and they leave us alone and we leave them alone. And we told them, you know, our people won't settle here. So he's kind of pissed off at them. And then he says, you know, you can come with me or you can stay, and if you stay, it's going to be really unsafe. So there's that going on. And then the wife of the Padre, who unfortunately gets killed, he's only in it for a little bit. You know, the guy in John Carpenter's Vampires. She goes with Sam Worthington. And by the way, I thought that was really well done, the scene in that house, because they kind of use the house as like a fortress, because they're still building houses and setting up the camp, and you know they already have their house built and everything. So I just liked how they shot that with them in there. And he has his wife, and he has a son and a daughter, and then other guys come in that are from the camp, and they're basically using it as a little fort. But then the Native Americans start to throw fire on the top of their house, so it starts burning, and there's like a secret escape route underneath, and then he sends his wife and daughter under there with his son, but then his son bravely says he's going to stay with his father and fight. And I don't know, I just thought all that was really done and sad, and that actor did a really good job with his son and the other people that were in there. And then there's women in the back, and they're trying to put out the fire, and thought all that was really well done. Good direction all around from Kevin Costner. I mean, the guy has an Academy Award for directing. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I liked all that. And I like how his wife and his daughter survive. And they use a gun. He gave her a shotgun. And then she uses that to knock through the ground so she can breathe, and the daughter can breathe, because they can't breathe under there. There's not enough air. And then Sam Worthington and his army comes there, and they rescue them. And then he's like, yeah, like, you can come with me or not. Her and her daughter go with him. Some others do too. Then they go to the camp, which is like 50 miles to the north. And then the Apaches who did the attack go back to their chief, and he's pissed at them. And you can kind of understand both their sides, because the younger one is like, well, they're gonna keep coming. We have to do this to scare them. And then he's like, you have no idea what you just unleashed. He's like, they're gonna, kill all of us now. So he's angry about that. And then he banishes him, and he has a wife and a kid. And then they're off on their own. And then also, what would you say? There's like 3 kind of stories going on. And then also there's this story of this clan of the bunch of brothers, and as the sister runs away with her kid, and they're looking for her. She ends up marrying this guy, this like nice, kind of not tough guy, but he's like a nice guy. He owns some land, and they're going to meet some people to maybe sell a little bit of the land and make some money. It's a trap, though. They just beat the guy up. I think they kill him. And then they want, her to go get the kid and go back with them. And I don't know. I think they end up killing her too, though. I'm trying to remember because I watched it a few days ago, and then I watched the other half. But anyways, the kid's being watched by a woman who's also a prostitute. And she is out there in the town, though, and when the kid is up in the house, and then she meets Kevin Costner. She's like flirting with him. There's like another house that is like a prostitute house, whorehouse, and she's like, no, you should come see me. I'll make you a good dinner. And he's like, maybe, I don't know. And then he ends up going there. And when he gets there, one of the brothers is there, and you could tell this guy's just like a psycho. And then he starts talking to him, Kevin Costner, and you can tell he just wants to kill him. Like, he just keeps bugging him, and you can just tell he just wants to kill him, and they end up having to draw their guns, and Kevin Costner kills him. Which was pretty cool scene too, actually. I like one shot where it's like the guy's like behind the water where the horse drinks out of, and the camera's just looking at him, but then you see the reflection of Kevin Costner, and then the guy puts his head up to shoot him, but he's aiming in the wrong direction, and Costner kills him. That was a good shot. So yeah, definitely, this is well directed, I would say, and beautifully shot, epic feel. So I like that. And then they're kind of on the run, and they're kind of being chased by them, because then they go back to their mom in their house, the brothers, the gang, and then now one brother's dead, and they want revenge. And then there's another story going on with a caravan heading west for Horizon. I think that's the one for her. See, I was kind of unclear. Is that the one that's going to Horizon, or was the original settlement Horizon? Because I think they had a poster there of Horizon too. So maybe that is Horizon. These people are going there also, and it's in Apache land. But I just thought it was interesting how they kind of get into the politics of it. That like the U.S. government has this kind of treaty, maybe unofficial treaty with the Apache. Like, we'll stay out of your land, you leave us alone, you don't raid outside of your land, and all that. Just thought that was kind of interesting. But there's this caravan heading west, and this is where Will Patton's there, and Luke Wilson too, and he's kind of like the running the show. And he's really good. I was like, oh damn, it's good to see Luke Wilson. But yeah, I liked all that. There's this British couple, and you could tell they have no idea what they're doing. They're like, they're doing all this work when they set up camp for the day, and the British couple are kind of just lounging around and, you know, drinking water, and they have these girls fetch them water, but it was for the workers, not them. And then Luke Wilson goes up to them and he's like pissed off, and he's like, hey, you know, the next time all these men are doing work, why don't you go help us? And the guy's like, oh, I didn't realize. And like, I don't know, I just thought that was funny. Like, they're like obviously right from the boat of England. They have no idea what's going on. They probably have money, you know, and they're like, oh, we'll go in the West and, you know, set up a house and buy a bunch of land. And yeah, and then there's this kind of subplot where his wife is kind of, you know, bathing herself naked, and then these two guys kind of sneak up near her and watch her. And then she sees them, and then the British guys goes to Luke Wilson and complains, and then Luke Wilson kind of calls him a coward a little bit, because why don't you just go talk to those guys yourself? And then he goes and talks to them, and basically those guys are like psychos, and they're gonna attack Luke Wilson, but he's like, hey, look, just like leave them alone. I don't need more trouble. He's like, I got no problems with you, just leave them alone. I liked that scene. And then it goes back to Kevin Costner on the run with that girl, the prostitute, and the kid. And then there's a group of guys, and they're out for Indian scalps, and they're out for the Apaches, because I think the U.S. government will pay for scalps, and but then they just go and attack a random different tribe because they're like, well, they won't know the difference. So yeah, and the scene inside of and you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, where the little kid is gonna buy these two guns, and then they're like, his like psycho uncle or something basically wants the kid to shoot down a Native American guy that did nothing. Thought that was messed up, but yeah, I think it's an interesting movie. I mean, he put in like $38 million of his own money. You know, I don't think I mean, did he think it would make it back? It's on HBO Max. I didn't see it in the theater. Definitely some parts would have benefited from the theater because of the beautiful landscape. And there's a chapter 2, 3, and 4, and I think they're each 3 hours long coming out, so. But it has my interest. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting character for him to choose, because he's just kind of taking care of this girl. He doesn't really know her. He's helping her because I think he feels, you know, that she has a kid, and the guys that he's dealing with are psychos, and you know, they would probably, there's nothing good they would do. And it's their, you know, relative, the little kid. So, but 38 million of his own money. There'll be 4 movies in is that for all 4? I'm not sure. Kevin Costner first commissioned the story in 1988, but failed to find a studio that was interested. It took 4 attempts before the film was finally greenlit. The film premiered at Cannes Film Festival and received a 10-minute standing ovation, moving Kevin Costner to tears. Okay. Yeah, Kevin Costner does not appear on the screen until 1 hour into the film. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting choice. But how much did it make? It made 38.7 million. The budget for part 1 is 50. Yeah, see, and like, I don't think the advertising for this movie was very good. Like I was just watching like beyond the trailer review, she really liked it. Uh, and she was like the advertising was terrible. I'd agree with that. I mean, it's kind of hard to advertise it because it's like, oh, Kevin Costner, we're gonna go see it because of him. But honestly, he's in it a decent amount, but not that much. Because you're jumping around with like 4 different narratives here or something like that. A lot of different characters. You have multiple things going on, a lot of moving pieces, and I'm sure in the end more of them will connect. Some of them already kind of have, but so yeah. And like I said, Giovanni Ribisi's in the next one. But yeah, I'm interested. I'd say the pistol Russell Gantz wants to buy from the trading post. Okay, that's the kid that takes place later when they go and raid a native village, and you can tell he's kind of like thinks this is kind of messed up, which it is, because they're not even the people that did the attack in the first place. Wants to buy it from the trading post is described as a J.H. Dance 44 by the Stoner owner, which was a 44 caliber black powder revolver manufactured in Texas by the Dance Brothers Company during the Civil War. It was modeled after the Colt Dragoon and Walker and the Colt Model Navy. Only about 400 were made in a very rare gun and popular with modern day collectors. The Dance Brothers originally made Cottongins. They began making the pistol in 1862. As part of the larger effort to supply Confederate troops with guns, as the South had very few gun factories, that combined with the fact that major firearm companies like Colt, Henry, and Winchester refused to sell the South. Kevin Costner's 7th Western film after Silverado, Dancing with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, Open Range, The Highwaymen, and Let Him Go. Well, I'm not sure I'd say The Highwayman is a Western, but I guess in some ways, but it's, it's not in that time period, though. What is Let Him Go? Oh, yeah, that's a good movie. That's right, yeah. That's a good one. The film cost $100 million to make, but earned only $32 million during its theatrical run. Revenue for digital streaming was intended to make up for the losses. So it's shot by Michael Miro. Camera operator on the shoot of Field of Dreams. Costner hired him to Dancing with Wolves and promoted him director of photography for Open Range. So naturally he chose him again. Kevin Costner and Michael Rooker previously appeared in JFK. But yeah, I'd say check it out if you are into Westerns. This is a epic saga, so doesn't really have a conclusion because there will be 2, 3, and I think 4. So, but I'd say it's interesting, and I enjoyed most of it. So, but yeah, that's about it though. See you next time.